Hello, my name is Jesus Terson, and this is my interpersonal communication project at Liberty University. Next slide. Introduction. What is interpersonal communication? Stewart states that interpersonal communication is communication that the people involved are contacting each other as persons. It is the label he gave to describe a typical experience such as at a bank, at the convenience store, and a fast food restaurant. This is how people develop their social roles as such tellers, customers, buyers, and sellers. Stewart states that this is the best type of conversation to have because it is efficient. In my Quindom interpersonal communication skills test, I scored a 66 out of 100. My results indicates that I fairly adapt at interpreting other people's words and actions and seeing things from their perspectives. Although the rare misunderstanding may occur overall, however, I seem to realize that empathy is an essential part of interpersonal skills, and therefore will do my best to place myself in others people's shoes in order to better understand them. For the most part, I can sense what people are thinking and will likely adjust my behavior accordingly if a person I am conversing with seems confused or perhaps uncomfortable. There may be an occasional time when I pay more attention in the message I am sending rather than how it is received. Next slide. Overarching goal. My overarching goal is to improve my listening skills to a level 1 listening. I also would like to articulate when speaking so there is no confusion and so can be understood. Next slide. Enlarging the conversations. Contributing to a conversation is a form of enlarging the conversation. Putting in makes the conversation to continue. Understanding communication weaknesses and strengths can help to enlarge the conversation. Listening to the talker is beneficial to enlarging the conversation so the listener can reply at the appropriate time. Speaking clearly so others can understand will help the conversation to go on. Next slide. Behavioral blend, or BB. Carbonell explains a behavior blend, or BB, as 4 different types of behaviors or temperaments, also known as DISC. A behavior blend is any mixed temperaments from the above listed DISC. BB has 2 different forms of graphs. What is expected of me type, and this is me personality type. Next slide. Behavioral blend, graph 1. What is expected of me type, I am a SC or CS. According to this graph, I am very passive. I like people on an individual basis. I like to do one thing at a time. I am not very assertive unless someone do things wrong. I tend to be protective over the truth. I tend to be nervous up front and avoid the lamplight. I tend to be the rock at work because difficulties don't tend to face me. I feel for the less fortunate. I do not like people who intimidate or manipulate others. I like to plan my work and I like to work my plan. I tend to be too concerned about how others may feel. Next slide. Behavior blend. Graph 2, above the midline, is what I score for this is me personality type. According to this graph, I am an overachiever. I want to operate as all 4 personality types. I have strong feelings in all 4 types. My passion is to do everything well. I am passionate about achieving excellence in my life. I sometimes allow emotions to overwhelm me. I am often too impatient with others. Next slide. For graph 1, how does it affect me? Positively, I am considered calm and laid back. I'm an easygoing person. I like to be safe and sure of what I do. I have good reasoning skills and I like to prepare. I am competent, I am a planner, and I am a peacemaker. Negatively, I like enthusiasm and excitement. I like aggressiveness, and I am not a strong leader. I do not respond well to challenges. I lack assertiveness. I am too nice and kind. And I am too passive and reserved. Next slide. Graph 2. Positively, it affects me because I am motivated. It makes me strive for excellence. I'm committed and I'm an overachiever. Negatively, I tend to be impatient with people. I stress because I like to overachieve. And I'm overwhelmed with emotions. Next slide. According to Burley Allen, fatigue is a factor in listening since it requires concentration and effort. When we do not feel like good, we struggle with attentiveness. It is easy to daydream and think of other things when we do not feel up to par. According to Lewis, internal factors interfere with listening because internal factors, such as personal problems, preoccupy our energy to listen. Time lag is a time when individuals connecting with their internal factors and not listening to the speaker. The best way to deal with these barriers is, according to Sonnenberg, the listener must focus on the delivery of the speaker. This keeps the listener entertained. He explains that listeners should hunt for nuggets, such as important information that they can benefit from for their personal growth instead of focusing on the speaker's appearance. Reserve judgments until the conversation is over instead of evaluating the speaker's message before he or she is completed. Next slide. Semantic barriers. The meaning are in people, not in words. People have their own meaning of words. Burley Allen explains that the dictionary defines thousands of words, but we only communicate about 500 of those words. Each word has 20 to 25 different meanings. If two individuals are having a communication with 500 different words, the conversation will have about 12,500 different meanings. He further explains that a word is simply its representation of the thing it is names of describe, not itself, which this may have a different meaning to the speaker and to the listener. Next slide. Internal noise pollution. Hearing what you want to hear but not listening to what is actually being said. Burley Allen state the filters can make a listener become anxious to hear something that fulfills his or her wishes or desires. The solution to this pollution is to ask the speaker to clarify so we could understand what he or she is saying. This is what Terson considers decoding. Next slide. External noise pollution is anything that distracts the attention of the listener from the speaker. An example of this is loud noises such as traffic machines and music. Room temperature if it's too hot or too cold in the room. Clock watching, stormy weather, tapping of the foot or of a pencil. Views of outside activity or scenery. The talker speaking in a monotone or unfamiliar accent. Or he or she is speaking too fast or too slow. Next slide. My plan is to become a level 1 listener, to have an open mind when listening, to focus because focusing allows me to listen to the speaker and not to other barriers, to strive to relax, be attentive and not judgmental, to reduce internal clutter, to clarify or decode instead of assuming, not to feel threatened while communicating. Next slide. Thank you for taking time to listen to my interpersonal communication project. Have a great night. God bless.